why haters be telling me to mind my business when they're out here not minding theirs. Shut your mouth and enjoy the tea. We all know you're here for it, sis. You a queen, one less than I'm a gozy. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie.
Hi ninjas, how are you guys doing? It's a girl, Owamie Chwajaru, aka Miss Fearful, called bring back for entertainment. If it's the first time joining me, almost definitely welcome. Please do make sure that you subscribe and obviously hit the bell. I absolutely love you. And do not forget to follow me on Instagram. It's at boldly Owamie. Now, my ninjas, today we're going to talk about the interview that actually went down this past weekend. And so, yeah, the interview was actually with AKA and was finally talking about what had happened when Nelly Tembe passed away. For some of you that do not know, Nelly Tembe unfortunately passed away in Cape Town. She jumped from the 10th floor of the hotel where she was with AKA. And I feel like I can go ahead and say that now, because of that's what AKA is basically saying. And from what we know at this moment is that AKA was the only person in the room, or I'd say in the hotel room, when that actually happened. So he basically gave the interview, obviously, for the first time. After I watched the interview, I immediately went live. I was still just shocked. There was some technical difficulties that were happening, like the sound, so they had to take it down and re-put it back, and then the sound was a little bit better. But there was just some stuff, you guys, where whenever I was watching the first time, they were not making sense. I don't know if maybe it was also just because I couldn't hear well. But after the live, obviously, I checked you guys' comments. As I said, I may not leave a love, but I read your comments. And so I said, you know what, Owamie, go ahead and rewatch this interview before you actually do this video so that it can be better, educated, and basically have listened to it. So what did I do? I went ahead and I rewatched that interview, and so I'd say that I feel like I understand a little bit better. I feel like I was watching it the first time with, I need to find out, like, okay, where are the loopholes, where's this, where's that, where's that. Whereas this time I was watching it and just, okay, let me just watch, let me listen to everything. If there's any red flags that I see again, then obviously I'm going to talk about them. However, looking at everything, you guys, I feel like there are certain things that I said in the live that I still fully stand with and agree, and then there are certain things now that I look at and I'm like, at this moment, after watching it the second time, I feel like I kind of understand a little bit better than obviously I did. And so I'm going to go ahead and just talk to you guys about that. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and summarize you guys the interview for you. If maybe you don't have the data to watch the whole 1 hour, or, maybe you just don't have the time. That's my job. That's why I'm here. And so I'm going to do it for you, my ninja. Okay? So basically, you guys, when the interview started, the interview immediately went on the interviewer. I think his name is Tembekile or something. Yes, his name is Tembekile, you guys, from what I saw, and he just basically went straight on. He was definitely asking the right questions. I just feel like he was not necessarily pushing too much for the answers, but he was definitely asking a lot of questions, and I felt like he was on point. There are certain questions that I feel like I would have asked, but then again, everyone conducts like their interviews in different ways. So of course there are like highlights that I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, like in terms of, yes, they did go to Cape Town together, and AKA was basically saying that after they went out, they had to come back to the hotel early, obviously because the curfew is 12. So I think they said they came back around 11, and so they decided they were going to go ahead and start talking about their life. Obviously now that they had been married, and stuff like that. And apparently that started an argument. Now things apparently, got heated for a long time, and which obviously at this moment, with AK actually saying what he was saying, it does correlate with what some people were actually saying that they had. You guys need to remember that there were people that were saying that they were in the same hotel room, and they said they were like, I can't remember, but they were like floors apart, and they were like, they had people arguing for a long time. So obviously that's what AKA is saying right now, that they had a heated argument, and then Anletembe threatened that she was going to actually jump, or she was going to kill herself, I should say. And so AKA called security, which security never came. That's what he said, which obviously, number one, that's shocking that, hotel security would not come if they're called, And so after that, he decided that he was going to remove himself from the situation and go to the bathroom. When he came out, that was when she was actually down. So he said that he came back around 11, right? They came back around 11. However, from what people are saying, they're saying that Wanele fell around 7, 8. Hey, Owamie here, and I have some great news. If you have a YouTube channel or a business and you would like to get some affordable advertisement, I offer those services. Follow the instructions on your screen right now and say hello to some new traffic. Now let's get back to the video. So what I just never got was that did they argue the whole night, or did they sleep, wake up in the morning and picked up the fight? AK also did say that, the time that they were, having the argument, he basically wanted to take his stuff and book himself into another hotel room. And then he had gone out with Annelie's phone, so he had to come back. And then that was when she walked past him saying that she was going to kill herself. And then he called the security. And then, obviously the story that I just told you, went to the bathroom. And then when he came out, Annelie obviously had jumped. So honestly, that's the part that's still a bit vague, like in terms of like the time lapse. Like, did they argue the whole night? Did they sleep? Did they wake up and argue some more? Like exactly what happened, right? So AK is saying that when he saw that Anela was actually down there, he did go to his friend's room, which was close to his. And then the friend is the one that went downstairs, and then the ambulance was there, and that, he came back and he said that they're working on her, she's still alive, which does correspond with what even the security had said, that she was still alive at that moment when the paramedic arrived and they tried to work on her, but obviously she couldn't make it. And then that was when AK is saying that obviously the whole nightmare started. Now again, from what we heard, the stories that came out, the ambulance did not immediately arrive to the scene. So my question is, from the time that she had, obviously jumped, I should say in quotes, then from that time to the time where the ambulance actually came. So does it mean that AKA no one of his friends actually went down to check up on her? And again, I feel like I just had to come to that realization of that we deal with situations in different ways. I'm one of those people that even when something is really, really scary, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to want to do it. I remember when I was told my mom passed, the first thing I wanted was just to see her. I wanted to see her, I wanted to touch her. That's how I react to stuff. And I guess maybe he's not like that. Maybe he's someone that would rather choose to avoid it, because obviously seeing someone from the 10th floor down, you can't tell me that you saw someone proper. Like, that's a huge difference. So, or height, for you to can be like, oh, I saw, and then obviously, like, he was saying that when they said she was still alive, he went crazy because he was like, don't do this. I saw her. There's no way she can survive from the 10th floor, which I understand that can also be one's mechanism to kind of deal with the situation and not raise their hopes high, even if it's what they want to happen. And I just want to make it very clear, you guys, not even day before yesterday, not today as I'm recording, not yesterday after I watched the interview, not now as I'm recording this, did I ever think that like AKA was somehow like, pushed Anele, or AKA is guilty of like, Anele taking her life and stuff like that. No. All I'm simply saying is that obviously if a story is presented and then there's something that you don't understand, something that you feel is not making sense, you do have a right to basically talk about it, and that's basically what's happening right now. So the interview, you guys, obviously went on and on. The part that I feel like I was more interested in was what actually happened the night or the morning of Anele's passing. And honestly, I just feel like we did get some information, but it was not really too much. I feel like the interview took longer in terms of like, Anele Tembe's father and the funeral, them saying that it was not suicide. He did disclose a lot of stuff about Anele that obviously we did not know. And that's AKA and I feel like he kept on repeating and he wanted people to just know that he loved Anele so much. And for me, I think that everyone could see that he loved her very much. And it's unfortunate that you can still love someone and still be in a toxic relationship with them. And I feel like at this moment, AKA is a little bit in denial of the fact that he definitely was in a toxic relationship, because the stuff that were happening in that relationship, that's not normal relationship stuff or normal relationship problems. How many couples do you know break doors and charge against each one another? The other thing that I would say that I really didn't like about the AK interview was that I felt like, he kind of thought that, we are stupid in a way when it comes to certain things. You cannot tell me that you, a sane human being that is not on drugs, because he did say that at this moment he's not on drugs. He said that his relationship with Anele, the time that they were in that relationship, they were not on drugs. Child, okay? But he does not remember what actually caused the incident of him and actually breaking down the door, but he remembers breaking down the door. Like, he doesn't remember what had happened for him to break the door, but he remembers breaking the door. Like, but you were saying, I don't care how angry or how whatever you were, if you were not high on something, be it, you're drunk or, you're high or something. For me, it just did not make sense. I'm not even going to lie. That part, I felt like guy was lying. That's my opinion. How are you not going to remember? Like, why you were busy out there, like, breaking the door, but you remember breaking the door because obviously that's out there, everyone can see. For me, that, and again, Anele had a how can I say this, an ice patch. There's a picture where she had an ice on her jaw, and when he was asked has he ever laid his hands on her, he said no. However, the newspapers obviously were alleging that Anele had sent a friend saying that, he had, bashed her head against the wall and stuff like that. And then she went to the room to hide. And then he started breaking the door. And Anele obviously has to have been the one that took the video. And so the way that I feel like AKA wanted us to see his relationship with Anele was that it was this perfect relationship that had teeny bitty normal problems, which obviously that is not the case whatsoever. And for me, again, I just don't understand why that relationship had so many recordings. It's weird though, we've been in relationships, Bobo. Mjolo has been showing Pudra everybody, almost everybody. Mjolo if I do, but you would fight with someone, but the thought of, let me take a video, I don't know, maybe when I'm pissed, I just want us to fight. I just want us to go at it. I don't have time to be taking my phone and recording you or recording myself acting a fool at that moment. Like, a legit no. So, when it comes to that video, obviously the question was asked. He can't remember how it got to be, but he can remember doing it. He was not asked about the video that he took of Anele when she was sitting on the floor. He was basically saying that his relationship with Anele had no drugs in it. Like, they were not doing drugs, like how the allegations out there. However, in that video, he did say that someone under the influence here, wanted to jump or something, or jump out of the balcony or something like that. And so I'm just like, okay, she was high on what? Those are questions that I feel like should have been asked. You're saying that you guys were not on drugs. However, you said that, oh, sorry, let me take that back. Not high, under the influence. I would have wanted to know, what was she under the influence of? You are saying that you all were not on drugs. Okay, fine. What was she under the influence of when you took that video and basically said that she wanted to jump? Now, I would have also asked another question, which is, was she under the influence the day that she actually jumped? If, he took a video saying that she was under the influence, she wanted to jump, what if maybe it was only under the influence that she would think of jumping? So I would ask the question, like, the day that she actually did, was she under the influence? You understand? Can be the influence of alcohol, it can be the influence of whatever. He also did talk about how she was like, on medication. Now, he didn't say which type of medication, but obviously we can all just speculate. The interview you guys went on, there is a certain part that I did feel, obviously feel for him when he was talking about how he did not get a chance to say anything at his wife's funeral or memorial. And so he was surprised that, the Minister of Police had to said something, but he couldn't. I actually saw that, you guys, and I thought, even if it was a matter of he was weak, he couldn't speak, would have done what the father did, write a letter or write a statement, and someone could have gone out there and actually read. So I did find that that was really sad. He did also disclose that it was him that buried his wife. That's what he said. And also, he was saying that it's as if the whole investigation is just happening, but they do not update him. And he actually cooperated, that's what he's saying, with the police. But then he was now surprised that DJ Zinhle was also interviewed. They were asking her, like, whether if AKA was abusive or not and all that change. And so he was just basically saying that he didn't understand when it comes to that part. There was a message that came out, you guys, where Anele Tembe's father was talking to AKA, and you could see that these are two people that actually get along. And he said that after the funeral, he did also go and again talk to Anele Tembe's father to actually, I guess, explain like what had happened and stuff like that. But for me, when it comes to that situation, I actually really do understand, like where he's coming from. Obviously, it would seem as if they're treating him as like a suspect and not necessarily a witness. However, he is saying that he was not in that same space when Anile jumped. He was actually in the bathroom. So I guess that he would be part witness because he was in the same hotel room, even though he was not in the same space when that actually happened. There are a lot of questions that people obviously were asking, like, why would you book, a 10th floor when you know that she almost jumped, 2 times before or more. I'm not sure how many times, but there's an incident that happened in Durban, and there's an incident that happened obviously the day that he actually took the video. Why, that and that. And I guess that maybe, you just never know the day that something like that would actually happen. Do I think that AKA is mourning? Of course I do. Can you see that he's in pain? Of course, yes. However, I feel like there's a lot more into this that we just do not know. We only thought and we only knew, about like whatever they wanted us to see. I thought they had a perfect relationship until the videos came out. Until somebody's out there doing speaky, picking up through holes in doors and scrolling in. Like, that was just scary. And so I think that it just got me to that level where I'm just like, you can't go ahead and be like, oh, they were in a great relationship. Especially looking at everything that just, came out and was obviously disclosed. As I said, do I think that he did anything physically? Absolutely not. I don't think so. However, I do also feel like mentally and emotionally, there's certain stuff that AKA did. That nearly was only 22 years. And of course, age, yes, does play a huge role, especially when someone is like still very young. It's just like, honestly, it's really, really bad. Now, obviously, we can all talk about whatever. He also did say that it will not bring Anele Tembe back. And I think that now we can just all say that, Anele Tembe's soul should rest in peace. And I guess that would be a little bit more difficult for the family. But I also saw something that, AK was asking questions in terms of the information that was being fed to the or fed. I know someone is gonna laugh at me. That was being fed to the police. It's like there's some truth in there, not the police, I mean the newspapers. It's like there's some truth in there because he was like, how did they know this? How did they know this? And does seem like it's information that is only known by close friends maybe or family, and so that's why he just feels like there's something that is shady happening and all that. Do I think that AK should do any more interviews? Absolutely not. I feel like if he does more interviews, it's not gonna be good for him. At this moment, I do understand that it has to be a lot, after losing someone that you love, and then having to also deal with this, like that's obviously not nice. However, I also just feel like people should start learning to appreciate people even when they're still alive, and treat someone good. If you're with someone, treat them good. And it just, the interview was there, but for me it was a bit disappointing. I just feel like we didn't get enough. I would have wanted to know, like, was it true about the Les baby mama? Was it true about the Chende sending pictures? Was it true about the Shoma Josie? Like, what were some steps that you can say actively took to kind of like just make Anele feel secure in that relationship and all that, like all stuff like that. But all in all, it was a good interview. I wouldn't rate it as great. Did we get information? A bit, like when it comes to like what happened that night, a bit, honestly. I do feel like though the interview was definitely there to clear AKA's name, which obviously makes sense. He's a public figure. He still has sponsors and companies that he works with, and he obviously has to also protect his own reputation. But yeah, I guess that's all I can go ahead and say when it comes to this. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think. What did you guys think of the interview? And yeah, from me, I mean, it was all right. I love you guys so much. Do not forget to thumbs up this video and obviously share, and I will see you guys in my next upload. Bye, ninjas. Would you like to start a new YouTube channel but you have no idea where to start? Or you already have one but it's not going well and you wish you could get someone give you some personal advice? Well, who better than someone with over 100,000 subscribers? I'm giving those services for a small fee, of course. The details will be on the screen somewhere here, so make sure that you follow them and say hello to a new successful YouTube channel. Now, let's go back to the video chat.